What's going on, everyone? Today we are making the podcast's second ever attempt at a speed run. This time, hopefully under 30 minutes, but we'll see how we go.
Oh man, he's a
What's going
one-man
on,
show.
everyone? We're here with episode number 105 of the Storm of the Beach podcast, talking about all things great and garbage from our sports viewing this week. What's going on, Manny?
Not a lot.
Excellent. Moving on. You had me laughing off. It's a one-man show. I'm just sitting here with like a harmonica around my neck and a cymbal strapped to each leg.
You've got the old backpack setup, but it's with all podcasting equipment. You're just walking around.
Got a webcam and mic and mixer and all that. Tripod.
Do we have a timer going?
I'm just going to use the timer on the bottom of the screen.
Oh yeah,
the recording timer.
I like it. I
think that's how it'll work best. Thanks for asking.
Didn't even give me a chance.
I love doing it. It's so fun. Just doing it every time. I make myself laugh.
It actually reminds me, like, this might come out the wrong way, so I'll like preface it by saying I like David. I like Dave Hughes, or Hughesy, if you will.
Yeah,
I think he's very funny. Actually, wait, no, I think he's a funny guy. Like, genuinely.
Wow, what a bold stance.
Yeah.
Anything else?
What a compliment. No.
Local man finds comedian funny. Glad you've stormed that beach.
Shut up.
He said the line.
The thing about him, the thing about Hughesy that struck me, and like this is probably only true of his career, maybe like the last 15 or 20 years, or maybe not even. Anyway, he's almost pretty, like, some people don't like him, and I get it, because he is like, he's annoying. He just talks fast and the whole time, but he's really genuine. And I think like, if people are genuine, like you could hate them, but most people are probably going to like you because you're just being yourself.
Yeah.
But the real kicker, like the crazy thing, he got rich and famous, and that's great. Like, that's awesome for him. But all of his comedy is just about being rich. And like, it's almost like he's just sitting there and he goes, it's pretty cool being rich because, you get to fly business class, and like everyone's laughing. It's like, he's just like making fun of us. He's just saying how things are.
Wonder what his material was like before.
Damn him with his cheeky, likable smile.
Yeah, it's quite funny because he's like just average looking. Just like, am I cutting out?
No, not at all.
Oh,
just
okay.
like... He is... no, I don't know. I wanted to make a joke about how, like, when Ed Sheeran blew up, everyone's like, I don't get it. He's the ugliest man alive. It's like, wow.
Ed Sheeran troll on the internet saying that.
Musical genius, charismatic, ugliest man alive. Like, what hope does anyone else have?
But yeah, Hughesy's like the Ed Sheeran of the comedy world. Like, he's just completely average looking, probably has a slightly annoying voice and accent, which people like that. It probably almost works in his favor where people like come back just to hear him be more annoying, I would say.
Yep.
But he, like you said, he's genuinely like a genuine person and quite funny at the same time.
Yeah, undeniably funny.
But he's definitely kind of annoying sounding. Like, I can get where you're coming from, but I like him. I like him for sure.
No, I'm glad we prefaced it with that, because I knew it would come out sounding weird if you took like that last bit out of context. I hate the guy.
He's both unfunny, annoying, and ugly.
No, I think that was a really good comparison. Like, truly one for one. But he's undeniably funny. You don't... I'm a pretty firm believer of you don't ever become super successful or wealthy out of sheer luck.
No, absolutely.
Because I know the people you're going to run into where they go, no, like, if you're born into the right family and you fall last, but it's like, I don't know, like you give 1,000 people $10 million, they're not all going to become billionaires.
No, exactly.
I don't know. It's not a good example. Doesn't matter. David Hughes is funny. That was the point of this.
Matt will die on that hill if he needs to.
I was watching him on that actually, there's a whole other thing, I guess. I'll talk about this real quick, hopefully. But now that I'm older, I was watching the Have You Been Paying Attention? That Channel 10 show.
Oh, yep.
And it was actually, I had a great time watching it. It had Sam Pang, who's hilarious, and it had Hughesy on it. Probably one of the best episodes. And obviously, as a kid, I hated that stuff. But I think now that I'm older, I know who the politicians are. Like, Albanese's not just some guy, and Tiana Ma's not some like made up fantasy world or whatever. All the jokes they're cracking, and like Hughesy had some of the darkest, edgiest jokes, and but it was really funny, and then it blends well with his like, seems like just a silly guy
for sure.
Where was I going with this? But the point is, like, I used to make fun of the Poms because like all they seem to do is sit around and watch game shows, and it kind of bothered me because I'm like, I don't get it, but Pom's humor is pretty similar to us in Australia. I think like someone like Gervais, like ironic, satirical, very same vein. Whereas like the Americans don't get irony; they just don't have irony. So our whole thing, like, worst tragedy happens and it's like, oh, how you doing, mate? And you're like, not bad. An American would get mad at you. They'd be like, what do you mean not bad? Like, your dad just died. And you're like, no, I'm just, Jesus Christ. But the thing with the Poms, and it's like, I don't want to seem like I'm having a go now at like the late great Sean Locke, because he was a gem, but you'll be watching that show, Countdown or something. You got Sean Locke, Jimmy Carr, undeniably one of the best like joke writers, incredibly talented professional comedian. And they'll say one or two funny jokes. And then a guy will come out like a human man, a grown man in a like full dog costume. And he'll be like, oh, I'm here for a delivery for Sean. And then he'll just throw a banana cream pie at someone. And the whole audience is chortling like it's the funniest thing they've ever seen in their lives. And you're like, what the hell is going on?
They certainly haven't moved very far past like Monty Python level humor at times.
No, it just cracks me up. And then they go back into like Stephen Fry will appear and say something incredibly profound. Anyway.
That show is pretty good, but yeah, I think now being an adult, you sort of, knowing who they're joking about, you actually get the jokes a bit more and that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And it seems like it's, whatever it is, like 6 people on the panel, like 6 comedians or whatever they are. And then Ed Cavalier, he just always has the answer. But he's funny, he also cracks jokes, but he usually just has the answer.
He's the winning guy.
Yeah. I had to Google him real quick, like just to double check his name. And he is ripped.
Oh, shit. For real?
Yeah, like jacked.
He's real deceptive looking on the...
Yeah.
Holy
he's married.
Shit.
Yeah, he's married to one of the former Biggest Loser trainers, the blonde one, Tiffany Hall. And he's like a bad report card sort of shredded.
He is properly... I couldn't even pick up the jokes you're saying. I'm like, dude, I'm just looking at him.
Yeah, like lost in his washboard abs, not hearing anything else. It's like one sense is just overwhelmed and the others just switch off.
For anyone listening who isn't Australian, North Macedonian fans tuning in, they don't know who Ed Cavalier is. When you see him on the show, he's always wearing a suit, sitting down, and in the nicest way, he just has the face of like a real nerd.
He looks like a nerd, big time nerd.
So some dork sitting at a desk, and like you think he can probably like he doesn't struggle getting around, but that's on account of because he doesn't weigh anything. But no, he's he's jacked, dude.
He could be, pick a page of local fireman fundraising calendar. Like he's that sort of jacked.
I need to stop
Super
looking
fit.
at these pictures. I'm
Yeah.
way too distracted.
It looks like there's a spoof thing here from the Daily Mail that Husey put up actually of side by side of Ed's Men's Health cover and a Husey Health cover also shirtless. I'll see if I can send the link over.
That'd be good.
It posted in the chat. It gives you a pretty stark comparison. See if that works for you. Maybe you have to copy and paste it.
David Hughes is a guy who is not known for his physical prowess, generally.
Here we go. Some of the spoof headlines as you're looking that up. Money tips, pay cash, no tax. 18, Hughesy's favourite sites on the dark web. Vegan treats the whole family will hate.
I mean, good on him. Like, I was expecting much worse. Like, that's at that age with his lifestyle and money, and
he's actually probably pretty fit. Yeah,
yeah.
Like he's not like fat. I wouldn't even call him overweight. I think I don't even think he falls in that.
That's like old mate who. It's like self-deprecating but cheating. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I could think of the word, but it's your buddy that goes to the gym and does have biceps. Like 9 out of 10 women are like, oh, that guy's pretty good looking, but he always downplays it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I guess I'll take my shirt off if I have to. And it's like, oh, you motherfucker. We all know what you're not a sad cupcake looking type of person like the rest of us.
No, exactly. All right, we've been sidetracked by Ed Cavalier and his fitness. That was unexpected. I don't think I'll ever look at him the same now.
No, it's so weird.
All right, do you have a minute?
Yeah, probably.
Opens for the podcast folder.
Yeah. Let me. No. I'll do something off the top of my head, so it's not garbage. But have I done it already? What's in? Oh no. Okay, I got something. Could be fun. Haven't done it yet. We can all workshop it together.
All right.
So, do you guys remember the the whole incident at the Oscars where Will Smith hit Chris Rock?
Yes.
That was pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just glad that was like good old fashioned black on black violence. Because could you imagine if like a white guy had hit Chris Rock? I don't think it would have been good. It would have been a whole other type of issue. Not that anything happened to Chris, like poor guy. Like he took it and then just had to continue the show. There's no real like punchline. It's just imagine. It wouldn't be good. It'd be like George Floyd 2 Electric Boogaloo or something.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I wish I could take that back. But that's why we're here. We're just workshopping it out.
Probably leave the last bit off during your set. Pretty good otherwise, though. That's fine.
Yeah, it's a funny concept. There's something there.
It doesn't need a punchline per se. I think it's okay. It is kind of funny that he just kept doing it. Like he just stayed up there and the show goes on.
The whole thing was weird.
It was very strange.
It's funny doing like just callbacks to funny things that happen, but we live in a time when news moves so quickly.
Mm. Yeah.
The only consistent thing is, what if you were a guy in a coma? You've been in a coma for 30 years and you wake up and you don't know where you are. You're scared. You turn on the TV, you turn on the news. You think, the news. This might help me because you've been in the coma for 30 years. I shouldn't be laughing. The guy in the news is like, tragically, there's a little bit of conflict between Palestine and Israel, and you go, this doesn't help anything.
Tell me something I don't know.
He falls asleep again. I'm still in the dream. Oh, it's so dumb. Anyway. Yeah. Well,
right. Pretty good. Pretty good.
There's a reason my shows are free.
It's definitely a nicer way of saying, a nicer way of not saying there's a reason why I don't get paid for shows.
Oh, yeah. It's all about mindset. How are you doing, though?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
Nice.
First, it's been, maybe 10 minutes since I jumped in and said thanks for asking. So thanks for asking. First weekend in a while without any rain, so I managed to get out and mow quite a bit of the land around here, but it's still very wet. There's a few sections I can't do. Getting used to it. As you can see behind me, jump over to YouTube.
It's looking good.
Nothing has moved yet. There's, dust forming around the stuff that's been left where it is. At some point, we'll get that rectified, but it is not this day. Pretty good otherwise.
Are you at the dad stage yet where it's raining and you just, like, arms behind your back, like Pablo, looking out the window? Just, more work I can't get done.
Yeah, that's definitely in my mind. I go arms behind the back sometimes, but my go-to is, like, just hands on hips. Just, like, straight out like this. Just standing there. Like that
Indian guy at the cricket.
Like the Indian guy at the cricket. Yeah, exactly. Or Pakistani, I think he was, guy at the cricket. Don't want to get it mixed up.
I realized as I said, I'm like, oh my God. I can't distinguish them.
Oh, God damn it. But yes, as it's been raining, most days that I've lived here so far, I've just stood out there and gone, excellent, another day. But yeah, there was a bit of a tough slog on the weekend trying to push mow grass that was like 1.5 feet tall. So you're like slinging the mower around on its back wheels, like slowly mowing it down. While it's
How much land do you have too?
5 acres, of which probably maybe 3.5 is like grass to mow.
And you push mowed it all?
No. The flat,
insane.
Yeah, the flat dry bits I did on the ride on, but on Saturday I push mowed like the hilly bits, which were longer and still a bit damp, so I couldn't drive on anyway. But probably still too steep to drive on. So yeah, I think I did 17,000 steps on Saturday. Nice. Most of them behind a mower, up or down a hill, or across a hill, I suppose. So
that's full on.
Good workout.
Alrighty, get into the pod.
Yeah. Butcher of the week. Any nominations?
This feels like a cop out because everyone's probably doing it, but you got to put Stephen A. Smith up there, an NBA commentator.
What's Stephen A. done?
Yeah, he's just been himself, I suppose. I was hesitant because he's clearly a very smart man. Like he's good at what he does.
And a hustler.
He knows the game. So of course he's going to come out, pick the obviously worst team and go, they're the greatest team. They can't lose. Mm-hmm. If they lose, it's because the NBA is rigged, and they obviously lose. They get embarrassed, and then people make fun of him, which is just more clicks, which is more money. So, but nonetheless, I think he deserves to be on there because he's just always, I think if he knew nothing about basketball, just a reasonable, logical thing to say would be like, all right, both these teams are in the finals, therefore they must be pretty good. Yeah, like
Sure.
you don't fall ass backwards into the finals. You don't get lucky that many times. And then for someone to come out and go, oh, well, one of these other teams in the finals is dog shit. They have no chance. And then that team ends up getting up 3-0 in Dallas's case against Minnesota. Spoilers, but yeah, it's like, wow, that's crazy. The team that you said was super lucky, no chance, going to get embarrassed, are now up 3-0. Interesting.
Interesting.
It's like, what do you get paid for again?
I thought, based on what you were saying, he might have been referring to the Pacers, who just basically played a bunch of injured teams on their way through.
Yeah. Feels bad.
Yeah. Speaking of, they're my butcher of the week for getting swept in the East Conference Finals. After, only because they wouldn't have, because, Boston was going to win that series, every day of the week, twice on Sundays. But the Pacers hadn't lost a home game since like the middle of March. They hadn't lost a game at home since the middle of March. So you'd think they would at least, gentleman's sweep maybe.
Yeah.
One loss, but Boston just coming in, taking the first two after OT scare in the first game, and then just sweeping them.
Yeah,
back at home.
Yeah,
tough look.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. It's certainly not going to help people that were accusing and making fun of the factually easier run they had than could have been.
Yeah. I think every year from now on, or even, from recent and then into the future, there'll be some excuse that people pull out to put like an asterisk on the championship. For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I don't think they'll do it to Denver last year, for example.
No.
I think that's, probably more legitimate, if you will, if you want to look at it that way. But, the start of it was the Lakers bubble chip. That was the first. And since then, I think everyone's just looking for reasons to call every championship Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, either way, don't skip ahead, but if the Timberwolves can, somehow win 4 in a row, which no team's ever done, then, get through. That would be a good series, or Mavs Celtics would be a good series too for the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. And it would, I wonder, I'd have to look at the scheduling and see what they're doing in regards to like the actual final scheduling. If both teams sweep, do they just hold the finals earlier? Do they just move the games forward, or do they give them like an extra week off to rest?
The finals don't sometimes go into July.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Have to have a look at what the schedule says, but like there might be the if they're going to push it, because they obviously have. Oh, here you go. So it's confirmed. Game 1 of the finals is the 7th of June.
Oh wow! Okay.
So if Friday week, next Friday, if you will, not the Friday upcoming. If the Mavs, get a hurry on, they will also have a nice rest break, and we might have the two healthiest teams ever.
That'd be really good for Luka.
Yeah.
Or actually, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Rest versus rust. El Clasico.
But even sometimes, like when you dig deep and you're playing on injury, obviously having that, like, if you were doing some sort of gruesome marathon and you're bleeding everywhere, and then some guy like invited you to sit down and have a massage for 40 minutes, like there's no way you're going back to the marathon.
It's over. Yeah.
It's
for sure.
Over.
Yeah, definitely. But Boston may have Tingus Pingus back by the time game 1 starts.
That'd be kind of nice. Like if he got a ring after. He's one of those guys that even still, with your Joker getting the 3 MVPs, they're all memed on all the time. You name or list Dominus Sabonis, 90% of people are going to laugh at you. Like, that's not, who is that? Yeah, what do you mean? One of the greatest big men in the game right now, arguably of all time.
Looking at, the leader for double-doubles or something like that in the whole league or whatever, or consecutive double-doubles, some crazy stat like that. Yeah. Pretty freaking good. But, yeah, memed on also. Like, you're not a ball watcher. Telling yourself.
Yeah. The point of this, where I was going, is like, Tingus Pingus, like, I guess wasn't what they were expecting in New York, but he still put up good numbers. And I don't know if that franchise is cursed at this point, but like, no one's going to win there, it seems. So
probably cursed, yeah. Probably cursed. I think
unless don't skip ahead. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Who knows? All right. Any movement on the shit list?
Nah.
Good.
None for me.
Okay. We get to AFL time on.
Oh, hell yeah.
We don't have the button man here.
We got to go old school.
Man. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Fuck, I forgot to write the scores down, which I was going to start doing as well.
I think we forgot to address that Keelan wasn't here as well. I mean, it's probably
He's
obvious
here.
at
His
this
mic's
point.
just not working. He's just been on mute the whole time.
He's lurking.
Good point. In case you hadn't picked up on it, 27 minutes in, Keelan isn't here this evening. And, therefore can't press the AFL button for us, which is unfortunate. That's all we're missing from him. All right. AFL round 11 started off with Western Bulldogs 12-16, 88. Sydney Swans 16-6, 102.
Nice.
Do you want me to go first?
No, I paused slightly too long. Right. Anyway. Swan dive into the night of your life. Unless you're a Dogs fan. Lousy, sexy Joel Amati. I think that's probably a bit too vague, but I was trying to play on the Old Spice thing.
And why'd you pick Joel Amati to associate with Old Spice?
It didn't feel weird until you pointed it out just then. I thought it was clever.
Oh, gotcha. Sweating like a gypsy with a mortgage. All right. Giga Chad cucks dogs in front of fans, showing them exactly where the G goal spot is.
Oh my God.
Chad Warner, 4 goals straight, 25 disposals.
I didn't love that dogs was in that sentence. That's what upset me. It's like, anytime you have a girlfriend and like her dog's just in the corner of the room, is that the same thing?
Look,
I wonder how many relationships have broken down because of that.
It's got to be a non-zero sum. Has to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you can see a good night ending in like, I want the dog out of the room. It's like, oh no, he's always with me. It's no.
No, he's sitting there just staring at me.
And then they just start fighting. It was one of those little shaky chihuahuas. It's making munted noises the whole time.
Just a growl the whole time. Thinks you're, attacking each other or something.
Get off of her.
All right. Fremantle Dockers 11-9-75. Collingwood Magpies 10-15-75.
Apparently the Pies were robbed or something.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks to suck.
Possibly a kick your goals moment.
Ooh.
West Australian geometry fans left in shambles as contest between Dockers and Magpies finishes all square in oval hole.
That's so good. Oh, that's brilliant.
Certainly an interesting free kick given out in this one. Up for much contention, but as rules is rules, you got to either hand the ball back to the umpire or leave it on the ground. Sucks to suck. Also, Jeremy Sharp could have won the game for the Dockers. There's a reason he's no longer at the Suns.
God damn.
All right, next up we had North Melbourne 7-6-48, defeated by Port Adelaide 16-11-107 down in Hobart.
Oh, boy. Thunderstruck Roos left electrocuted after buzzing Port Adelaide Power surge into a win.
Just used all the words.
I remember how much Keelan said he liked and enjoyed it. So
synonyms for power. Use all of them. Roos fans left Yada pulling their hair out after another big loss.
That's so good. Yeah, pretty much though. Like, I'm starting to fret if Clarkson will stay or not. I think he's the kind of man who is the right guy for the job. Like, he's seasoned veteran winner, and he's not going to just bail. But I don't know.
Who knows?
They're pretty grim losses.
A man can only take so much. Like, whatever it was last year where they had like 10, 50-plus losses in a row or something, something horrific like that. It's probably weighing on it. Like, at least there's no weight of expectations. But this was definitely a set and forget game. I think it was on at the same time as the Suns game anyway.
Yeah.
But, this was, let it happen in the background. You know what you're getting.
Absolutely. Yep.
For anyone following along who hasn't picked up on it yet, we've passed the half an hour mark, so speedrun didn't work, given we're only a third of the way through the recap. Anyway, moving on. At Marvel Stadium, Carlton 15-12-102 defeated Gold Coast 11-7-73.
Lids everywhere, I tell you.
Suns false dawn on the cards as road record has fans feeling blue.
Aww.
Brutal.
You could feel that one. Like, that had the host's real emotions in it.
I only got to listen to this one intermittently because I was out and about what was happening in the afternoon there. But I don't know. It seems like any game that I don't have my full attention on, the Suns no good. Right? And ones that I watch, they're pretty good. Maybe that's just a view of the time of them. I don't know. Maybe home games versus road games.
Yeah.
More likely to watch or pay attention to home games / Darwin games. I'm also just looking at a stat here, or trying to throw together a stat.
Do you reckon that's what happened to the Swans fan, and he just decided he had to be at every game or they wouldn't win?
Quite possibly. Probably true. Looking at, let's see. So they've played 11, 2 in Darwin. Conservatively, the Suns have probably had, 5 or 6 of the 11 games that they've played so far on the road.
Yep.
Out of the time slots that I'm looking at, only one game around, that early mark, that afternoon, 12:30, 1:45. I think they played at one of those games. The Suns have only won one of those games. Maybe they're just a nighttime team. They're not a day footy team. Maybe they like yellow footies and not the red ones that they play with at daytime.
It's funny like that. Those things sound so trivial, but they can actually be true in some cases.
Mm-hmm. I guarantee Dimmer's got someone looking into
that. Surely, yeah.
Has to. If not, I'm going to have to message the Suns on Instagram and say, hey, get the boys out of bed earlier or something because we're not doing well around lunchtime.
They all come out in the field one day with Coxie goggles, and it's special lenses to correct color change. Like it changes the color of the ball to be the correct color or something.
Exclusively changes the red share into a yellow one in their eyes.
They cost like $8,000 each. Anyway.
All right. Next one was Geelong 11-8-74, defeated by the Giants 11-12-78.
New stadium, not enough to thwart coked up honey hams. That's what patrons of the Old Gentlemen's Club in New South Wales are locally referred to, honey hams, because the club is called the Honey Hole, and men who attend the club to see naked women are pigs.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll take it. That's quite funny. I took the step, like I knew what was coming, but I took an extra step in my mind of pay pigs as opposed to just pigs.
I like that a lot. That's pretty good.
Oh, God. I've got Giants loving home ground advantage of GWS HBMA Stadium. We got to keep
stadium itself is funny.
We got to keep an eye on stats like this, where the Giants have now won 4 games in a row or something like that in Geelong. This is interesting. Got to keep that in mind for next season.
What could it mean?
Wish I'd known that before the weekly tips.
Lousy tips.
Okay, we had Dreamtime at the G. Richmond 10-14-74, lost to Essendon 12-14-86.
Tigers versus military aircraft. The results may surprise you. The Tigers lost.
Bombers' dream start to season continues with good time in win at the G.
Nice.
Yeah. Trying to
get what they. Oh no, sorry.
I was trying to play around the dream time at the G wording.
It feels like they got what they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting there going, yeah, I don't want to spend any more time on the Tigers and Essendon than I have to.
Pretty much. Bombers fans are starting to believe, given it's their best start to the season since 2000.
Oh, wow.
Which is exactly where I want them.
Oh.
All right. Next up, we had... I keep moving away from the games. Next up, we had Hawthorn versus Brisbane at Marvel. Hawthorn 15-10-100. Brisbane 10-15-75.
Wild.
Brisbane
Lions, suckiest bunch of sucks to ever suck. I mean, boy, do these guys suck. That one's for Zach. I don't fully believe they're the suckiest sucks because North Melbourne are on the table.
And have 0
yeah.
wins this year.
That's pretty sucky.
0-11. All right. Brisbane may have a Melbourne problem, not just an MCG problem. Marvellously inaccurate kicking leaves them burnt by the hot Hawks.
That's like a Tyson KO in journalism writing. What did you say?
Marvellously inaccurate kicking.
It's so cutting. Using a good word to describe how terrible it was.
Just absolutely setting them up with like, we're going to rope a dope of marvelous. Terrible.
It reminds me of that real big bloke on the cooking show where he just throws the contestant's plate on the ground.
Yeah.
In like season 20 when they've run out of setups or something.
Yeah, pretty good. So the Hawks are still one of the hottest teams in the league. Still only 14th on the ladder, though. But pretty disappointing given Brisbane were my shoe-in. Don't know how you go from, winning by 119 to losing by 25.
You can't.
They kicked all their goals last week when they kicked 26-7. There was some, leftover Jews in the behind department.
I suspect Hipwood was involved in this somehow.
I don't think he was. I feel like he was suspended.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, not in there. I can see.
Maybe that's why he gets the minutes. He's like some sort of. He sucks all the bad energy into himself like a vortex. If you place him correctly, it minimizes how many behinds you have.
Yeah, he's the sacrificial anode of the Brisbane Lions, where just he rusts and rots away while the team thrives on. Charlie Cameron did have 1-3, so he made up for his buddy Eric in suspension. Kicked a couple for him.
Oh man, poor Charlie.
All right.
During his round. No. No. That slipped out. It wasn't clever. I didn't mean anything by it.
A Freudian slip, some may say.
Oh, boy.
Speaking of the same vein, but Lloyd Johnston for the Suns Lloyd Johnston, I should say, kicked a pretty sweet goal and then whipped out a backflip in celebration, which is pretty wild.
Far out.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Just goes.
Yeah. Why not?
Okay. Melbourne Demons 14-16, 100 defeated St Kilda Saints 9-8-62.
For this one, I had some help. But, quote, increasing immigration has brought upon a decline in Christianity, allowing the demons to run amok and take back the city of Melbourne.
Nice. We
need stricter border control, more Sundays at church, and good old traditional white values, end quote. That's a direct quote from host Keelan. Isaac and I suggested it may be a little hot for air, but he insisted upon it.
Is it?
Those are just all his core beliefs.
Yeah, exactly. So. He's notably a huge Christian. Huge. Loved Scott Morrison because of it. Was, very unhappy when ScoMo was voted out. Big stop the boat sort of guy. Sometimes he'd just go out there himself by the beach, just swim out as far as he could just to patrol. Just to turn around if any came nearby. Not a lot of asylum seekers, stopping on, Main Beach on the Gold Coast, but he was doing his bit, as he used to say. Yeah, that's why we don't really see him on Sundays because he's too busy praising the Lord. He's worshipping. Like he doesn't like covering Sunday games too much, or he doesn't like too early in the week without adequate prep time to cover the Sunday games Monday morning because
absolutely,
Sunday's the Lord's Day.
He's frequently trying to get us involved in can't even.
You know what he's always trying to do? Put in a tithe into our non-money making podcast. He's always trying to tithe 10%. It's like 10% of, negative money, still negative money, bozo. Doesn't work like that. Complains about how poor he is all the time. Spends all his money on his band and the church.
Yeah, just loves giving.
Yeah.
Dude. You completely lost me swimming out as far as you can. Just full of rage, cursing with every stroke. I know they're out there.
Oh, God.
Oh, crazy. Crazy he would say that, but his opinion.
All right, I had demons take possession of saints' corpses in clash for the cathedral.
I love that.
They killed them.
They did.
Could have been a lot worse too. All right,
that's a good segue.
Wrapping up the round, we had Adelaide Crows 21-11, 137 defeated West Coast Eagles 5-8, 38.
Yep. Poor Eagles.
Do you want to go? You go first.
That's all I've got.
That's all you have.
Poor Eagles.
Fair enough. Very true.
Yeah.
Germanic descent Eagles fans left saying 9-9 after another bad road performance. For those who want a bit more background about that, the Adelaide Crows won by 99 points. If you couldn't work it out.
That's awesome. Well done. Oh, man.
God. All right. Good stuff.
Man.
Good stuff. Right, quick
I'm
shoe.
glad you followed.
Sorry. No, you go.
I'm glad you followed with all of those because you had some excellent ones.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Some of yours were very funny.
Thanks.
Keelan's was just, not really surprising, but we tried to talk him out of it, and you can only do so much. He insisted.
Yeah, it meant that much to him. He FaceTimed us earlier today, and he kind of he wasn't in focus of the camera because his arms were tired from all the swimming on Main Beach he'd been done doing earlier in the day, trying to catch people. We had to bail him out of jail not too long ago. I think he got locked up in Surfers because he accidentally tackled an Indian man on a paddleboard. got a bit confused.
No, the real confusion was that he was actually a Pakistani gentleman, not Indian.
Oh, man. Do we upload this one? I think we've said worse.
Yeah, sadly, yes, I think we have said worse. All right, moving on. Shoe of the week recap. Matt, you had the Swans who won by 14. Keelan had the Bombers who won by 12. And I had the Lions who lost by 25.
Oh, man.
So Keelan and Matt still on 9, or up to 9 now, and I'm still on 7 points for the year. Looking lot of season to go, but 2 games
There
back.
is.
Not particularly happy about it. All right. Should we do tips out for the boys?
Yeah, I think we should. Since the time challenge sort of busted, we don't have to try to get Keelan's. If we can, it'll be great.
Yeah.
But or we certainly have more time at least.
Yeah, I sent him a message earlier on this afternoon. He may be at basketball, I would say. He may have had an early
True.
game, I reckon. So we will just continue without him for now. Tips will be out later in the week on Instagram, as always. He's got the last pick in the shoe in anyway, so we can both do ours.
True.
And continue on.
Yeah, true.
And we're back into buys now. Backstreet's back. Buy, and such for the next few weeks. So we've got
I don't mind that.
A couple less games.
I wish the games were probably... Oh, no, they actually are spread really well. Yeah, I've got nothing bad to say.
They are spread well for once in a bye week. So the next 4 rounds have buys in them.
Yeah.
Alrighty, first up, Adelaide Oval, Port, Carlton.
Man, I think Port's getting way better odds than they deserve. I don't think Carlton's completely out of the...
No, they had lost a few leading up to the Gold Coast game, and then obviously got a good win again last week. Port's won 3 in a row. Geelong, Hawthorn at home, and North in Hobart. So, can't take too much out of that, but it should definitely be closer odds-wise, I think. They're probably getting a bit for the home factor, I would say, and that's probably what's going to lean me towards Port as well.
Alternatively, pretty good odds on Port.
True.
Not that we... Do we condone? I don't know. Do whatever you want.
Bet with your head not over it. Chances are you're about to lose. Imagine what you could be buying instead. So your selection for this one?
I'll take Port by 10.
Port as well. I'm going to do Port by 20. That's usually my standard margin for every game. All right, Marvel, Collingwood, Bulldogs.
I think the Pies will be back.
Pies should win. They're smashed by injuries, but they should still win. I think De Goey's out for a month, on top of Mason Cox is out for about 6 weeks, I think, too.
Although, Aaron Norton's out.
Oh, no. Where are they going to get 1-4 from every week?
The Dogs might be better.
Good point.
I'm going to tip the Dogs.
I hadn't considered it. This is absolutely a great spot to tip the Dogs for you. I know you love them. It presents quite a good opportunity. The Dogs did put up a pretty good fight against the Swans last week, who are, top of the table at the moment. But Collingwood are undefeated in their last 8. 6 wins and 2 draws.
2 draws. Yuck.
Does the AFL have a draw problem?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of them.
I'm going to stick with the Pies. Oh, Interesting one. MCG, Red Hot Hawks versus the Crows.
I just don't think you can tip the Hawks. It's too silly.
You can't, in good faith, back them, surely, right?
But...
But the Crows aren't that good either.
I don't. I don't think they're good enough yet to be a team where you can say they had a good win and they're gonna, come out the gates.
Yeah,
It's more like, oh wow, they had a good win, and then back to another 5 losses kind of thing.
exactly, for sure.
Which like sucks, but that's generally how it goes.
Mm.
If you're looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah. Given it's at the, you know what,
The G.
I'm going to go the Hawks. Had a
Oh,
big win at Marvel last week over Brisbane. Back at home, I think I'm
I'll
going to
take the Hawks too,
They're hot.
just because I'm at the bottom of the table and I
Doesn't
need
matter.
whatever I can get.
Need to get a win picking something different. All right, moving over to Optus Stadium for possibly the first game in about 3 years that West Coast have been the favourite by the odds makers.
Yeah, this is insane.
That's crazy. Now West Coast did just get smashed, but they do play a lot better at home than they do away. All 3 wins have been at home. All 30 points plus. St Kilda stink to high heaven and lost to Fremantle a couple of weeks ago. Fremantle obviously a better side than West Coast anyway, over in Perth, so don't travel well. I guess I have to follow the bookie's advice and pick West Coast here, right?
Yeah, why not?
Might as well. West Coast, Harley Reid to kick 3 goals and complete 3 fend-offs as well, I reckon.
Yeah.
3 and 3.
No, I think the Eagles. If there's a team they could be, it would be the Saints.
It's got to be the Saints, right? They're in the conversation of teams they can beat.
I think the Saints kind of got figured out and can't really use their slow type of lockdown,
defensive,
whatever they were doing.
Exactly. I don't think it works anymore.
Nah, people just score more than them, and there's nothing they can really do about it.
Exactly. You got to kick 50 points and you've beaten them because they can't score themselves. And unfortunately, defense does work at times, but you still have to score more points than the other team to win.
Yeah. You can't beat just defense.
And, West Coast have been bad this season. We all know this, but Saints have been sneaky bad. They're on the same amount of wins for the year. You wouldn't think it. So I'm going to take West Coast at home.
Oh, man.
All right, back to the Cattery. Again, Geelong, this time hosting Richmond.
That's brutal odds for Richmond.
Yeah, got to be a bounce back spot for the Cats here at home after getting embarrassed.
Yeah, you would think so. I'm going to tip Geelong.
Yeah, definitely Geelong there. Traeger Park, I think that's Alice Springs, right?
I have no idea.
I believe it is.
It's pretty cool, though.
Demons out to Alice Springs for their yearly trip, hosting the Dockers. That might be a pretty close game, actually. Might be pretty good. But I'm going to take the Demons.
Yeah, I'm with Melbourne on that one for sure.
I think they just, lost a couple in a row, got back with the win over St Kilda. I think they're going to be back now. This one, and the game I've been waiting for, the game Bombers fans are going to be, waiting all weekend for. They're going to have seen Port win and Melbourne win, which Port will overtake them on the ladder. So they'll want to, they'll be hanging out for the win to get back to 2. Melbourne can only get to 32 points with their win. This is the Suns back at the Solarium after 5 weeks away, something like that, hosting the Bombers. It's Suns all the way. This is my lock of the millennium, Gold Coast Suns. I've got it in here. Have had it in here for 2 weeks. June 2, guaranteed Bombers loss. Book it.
Damn.
So that's the Gold Coast Suns, Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. over the Bombers.
There's going to be a lot of upset people because it seems that the vast majority of people are tipping Essendon despite the odds.
Well, that's a damn shame for them, isn't it? They clearly haven't been paying attention.
That was pretty hype, though. Like, when you think about 5 weeks away, finally returning back, should be a great game.
I think. So when was there? Yeah, the past 4 weeks have been Brisbane, Darwin, and then in Melbourne. So back at home. Yeah. All right. Shoe of the week. I'm going to back up my bold statement. It's the Suns. I'll hang out. I'll sweat it out all weekend. It's the Suns. This is the Suns. This is, take out your kids' college tuition, withdraw your super balance, take it to the TAB shop front, slide it under the window to the clerk. Gold Coast Suns head-to-head bet. Shoe-in of the week.
They have to know, right? It's why they've got the lower odds.
Mm-hmm. The Suns have not lost at home this year.
Crafty bookies. Mm-hmm. They're going to make a killing on this game.
Yeah. And it's
$1.70 is nothing to laugh at. So
pretty good.
You're going to get your Isaacs putting their mortgage on it and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have to pay out, it won't be the end of the world because they're going to make millions of dollars from $2.20 on Essendon.
Oh yeah, exactly. You got to pay attention to what the bookies are telling you. This is the Suns, and this is a later time slot as well, 4 p.m. Not this 1 p.m. 1:45 nonsense. Dangerous. Where they don't play. They're going to be ready for this one.
Man, all right. So Richmond Geelong's out.
Yep.
Then Port Adelaide probably looks pretty good.
Ooh.
Could snipe that from Keelan. Less games to choose from. So should tighten the race up, perhaps.
That's true. Definitely
I
some
think
harder.
I'll take Port.
Yeah, okay, Port. Definitely a harder week this week than, the previous three where there's been like 2 or 3 what should be runaway favourites. Yeah, all right. Port locked in. Port over Carlton. Some would say that's sort of ballsy. Matt has the power.
You're like a game show host, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire guy. Are you sure about that?
Well, too bad, because you've locked it in already. All right, Matt's summoning the power of the universe. He's locked in Port. All righty, excellent. On to the NBA. As we spoiled earlier, Boston swept Indiana Pacers in the East Finals, easy as you like. And in the West, the Mavericks are eyeing up a sweep for tomorrow's game against the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
So, would have to get the NBA historians onto this to see if it had ever happened before, where it was a sweep for both conferences to get into the final.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
You wouldn't think so.
Oh, really?
I wouldn't think so. Teams only... One of
right.
the two losing teams only has to win one game. The two teams have to go, 1 out of 8 combined. Or
yeah.
1 out of 9.
Yeah, no, actually, like I didn't want to get into it, but you've sort of, like, whenever I hear... The thing that annoys me isn't the stat. It's probably just the constant, like when you hear a song get played on the radio 20 times a day, the same song.
Yep.
Everyone always goes on and on. No team has ever come back 3-0.
Yeah.
And it gets a little bit annoying. But if you really do think about it, it's pretty obvious, right? Because it kind of suggests if you're a team that's either so good or so bad, or however you want to frame it, that you've ended up in that 3-0 situation, how are you how are you going to suddenly turn that around and become the team that is now a 4-0 team?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And like once I thought about it that way, it's like, so you're a team that sweeps 4-0, but you've somehow ended up 0-3. That might never happen. It would probably, it would have to be something to do with like a team that is focused around a LeBron James and he gets injured.
Yeah.
And then that would become an infamous like bubble chip situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
Definitely.
everyone would go, well.
Definitely. But it is a good point, one of the, even say it's just any, I'm sure that stat's just for any of the playoffs whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a top 8 team in your conference. To get in a hole and lose 3 in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not like you're against one of the other top 8 teams in the conference. They're probably not going to lose 4 games in a row. They probably
exactly.
If they've had a bit of a weird year, maybe the bottom, 2, maybe the 7th, 8th seed, maybe they lost 4 games in a row during the season. But I don't think many of the top 8 teams from each conference in the season would have had a stretch of 4 losses in a row at all, just regular season.
It would just be insane.
Let alone
trying
to win 4 games in a row against a team that has you completely figured out and knows what you're throwing at them.
Yeah. There you go,
and can dedicate all their film time to researching what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to really cover about the NBA?
The NBA or the NHL?
NBA.
No, not anything else.
I'll just say this then. So obviously, maybe if you're a Minnesota fan, you won't be as excited. But I genuinely believe that anyone listening should go through the effort, it doesn't matter how you acquire the stream or the game or whatever you do to get that in your hands. Mm-hmm. But the last 5 minutes of the Dallas-Minnesota Game 3, incredible. Just some of the best basketball you're probably ever going to see.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
Where the whole last 5 minutes should be watched. Not the highlights, not the best moments. That 5 minutes just has, especially if you're I don't want to say true fan or anything wanky, because, I get I'm getting older, and it's like, I don't like things that are different. Mm-hmm. But in terms of trying to be as unbiased, like my team's New Orleans, I don't have a horse in the race. You had Kyrie Irving dribbling. You've got Luka Doncic, one of the greatest guys to watch. Mm-hmm. You got all these incredible athletes, and that 5 minutes showcases truly, to the NBA standard, like some of the most insane defense you're going to see, defensive plays, offensive plays, tenacity. I don't want to spoil anything, but it has everything. Like if you're a guy that goes, I miss Kevin Garnett and I miss like the bad boy Pistons, and how it's got that. If you like the new game and Steph Curry, it's got that. It's got everything.
Oh yeah.
Crazy 5 minutes.
You're talking it up, and I know you don't talk up a lot of NBA.
Yeah,
way to play
doesn't
currently,
disappoint.
So it must be pretty good. I will definitely have to check that out later on, for sure.
Super cool. I couldn't believe it.
Now, Jaylen Brown won the Larry Bird Trophy for East Conference Finals MVP.
Nice.
Is Jason Tatum washed? He's not the guy, right?
Oh, man. I think so, but I haven't been watching much of the East Conference.
Mm-hmm. I think it's mainly because of the last game, maybe. Game 3, I think Jaylen Brown dropped like 40 or something like that.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So that probably, propelled him above. And then this game, I think he had like 24 or 25 again, and Tatum had about the same. So it's like, well, you got to pick the guy that scored more, probably.
People love voting off the last 3 games.
This is true. They do be doing that.
I don't know. I mean, Jaylen Brown's pretty phenomenal.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's
So
certainly not a bad player.
yeah. It just seems like stiff competition.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting where a team has like two guys who could be the guy.
Yeah. If you have two guys, do you have a guy?
Yeah, right.
Only one ball. All right, moving on. Stanley Cup playoffs, East Conference Finals. Rangers are leading the Panthers 2-1 after stealing Game 3 in Florida. And Dallas did the same in Edmonton and are also leading 2-1. So both those series split the first two games. And, at the away teams for Game 4, both, or home teams, I should say, both home teams looking to even up the series in Game 4. So we might have a split each way.
Has Connor McDavid won a cup yet?
Still no cup.
Yeah. Ooh, so a lot to play for.
Interesting. But we could have 2 Game 7s again. The Rangers Panthers is very close. 2 of those games have gone to overtime, I think. At least 2, maybe even 3 of them. But the Oilers' first game went to double overtime, and then they lost 5-3 today. So I don't know. The West is definitely going to be a higher scoring one because the Oilers have they don't have but their goal is not great. So they kind of have to score goals to win. Whereas there's definitely a bit more grinding it out on the East side of things. Either way, out of these 4 teams, we should be in for a good Stanley Cup Finals, no matter what.
Hell yeah. I like all those 4 teams.
Yeah. And they all play slightly different styles as well. So it'll be like a good sort of mash-up of different types of hockey being played against each other.
Yeah.
Oilers obviously carrying the torch for all of the Canadian teams that haven't won or all of Canada, I should say, that hasn't won a Stanley Cup in like 20 years. So NHL Rigged had the last 2 Canadian teams left playing each other in the round before this one, so only one could get through. Oh, we may have a shoe-in for Keelan. Just replying.
What's he gonna pick? Who's he gonna pick?
Surely he's got the concept by now. Knows he can't pick Geelong.
He's picked no. It could be anything. Could even be the Hawks.
It might be the Hawks.
That'd be crazy. Wouldn't be the worst spot to tip them.
No.
Could tip St Kilda. That'd be crazy.
That would be wild.
Wouldn't make a whole lot of sense.
Shoeing St Kilda over my dead body.
I think the new format for picking's working pretty well. In
regards to the order.
It keeps it from someone running away.
Mm-hmm. I think it's good. Obviously not working out for me so far, but fingers crossed. Look at this guy. Asks, are we still on the air? But doesn't leave that message open long enough to see the response to then reply again. So speedrun unsuccessful so far.
I'm not a very avid mobile phone user, so whenever that happens, I picture a guy like running past his laptop and just typing a message and running away. And it's like, hey, come back.
Keelan has stated the obvious slim pickings this week. Yep, we've covered that. Just after a team at this point.
It's such a... We're like a hive mind of hetero, normal...
Oh. All right. He says he fears he may shoe in Melbourne before he can change it. Locked in. Keelan is shooting the demons.
Nice.
All right, beautiful. No flips out for the boys this week. We'll bank that and postpone it until next week for the sanctity of the flip. All right. Thank you, Matty. See you next week.
Just going off.